Buddy, welcome to the No Name Podcast. I'm your host here, Arturo, joined by your co-host, Ricky.
What's up?
What's good? What's happening? It's been a while.
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been a while.
Okay, it's been two weeks.
A lot's happened in 2 weeks.
You make it sound like we don't talk at all between those 2 weeks. When literally it's like on every other day we're playing some game. We're playing Overwatch. Stuff.
Yeah, mainly because my controller just busted itself and I can't sprint down in any other game, and Overwatch is one of those games where I don't need to worry about sprinting.
Those are facts. Those are facts. It's been. I mean, it's been a good. It's. Let's just say, okay. Personally, not bad. Uh, Work stressful. Other things here or there, and all that stuff and everything. So it is what it
Makes sense,
is.
makes
It
sense.
is what it is. Am I currently on a? Is my Destiny 2 itch starting to come back because of a brand new expansion that's about to be out? I mean, I'll probably end up. I mean, there's probably a chance I may have already bought the new expansion already,
Did you?
and tech right now, as of right now, while recording this, no. By this episode comes out, most likely, and all that stuff
Oh gosh.
and everything. But hey, either here or there. Okay, it's a fun time. I beat the Witch Queen campaign and all that stuff. I saw the ending cutscene of the of what's going to lead into Lightfall, which is the name of the new expansion. And I have to admit, this is interesting. I finally got my grasp on catching up, thanks to YouTube, because that's how I do my Destiny lore catch ups, and if on stuff I've missed or don't understand and all that
Makes
stuff.
sense, makes sense.
And yeah, this is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting time
Yeah.
and all that stuff. It's gonna
Okay,
be an interesting time.
okay.
I don't know. Let's see how this goes. Because the thing was, the one thing about Destiny for me is that it is what it is. It's an MMO and all that stuff
Hmm.
and everything. I'm a lone wolf in those kind of games because I just want to play the story and get out the way and all that stuff and everything. It's not that I don't like raids. It's not like I don't like dungeons and all that stuff and everything like that. I just want to play a game and enjoy my time being in the being on the planets are fun and all that stuff. The other landscapes are cool and everything like that. I just want to go in, shoot some hive or fallen. Oh, technically not no longer fallen because they're now aligned with us, and that's not. Oh, anyways, but anyways, I just want to enjoy my time while I'm in there for the couple of hours that I spend and all that stuff, and learn some story lore while we're at it too. Why not? And also, if do I have is there opportunities for me to learn to get a brand new exotic by myself? And do I will attempt to try to do it? Yes, because why not? And all that stuff. But still,
We do love the challenges.
yes.
I just realized maybe we can still play the other games. I think there's like what auto sprint, right?
For COD,
Yeah.
yes, I believe so. Um,
Hmm.
if we wanted to jump into other explorations, I believe Fortnite does. But
I
let's
know.
check.
I know for sure Fortnite does.
All that stuff and everything. Speaking of Fortnite, 10 days left to the new season starts, and I have not completed my battle pass for that season. That
You
is
know, it's funny though.
that is crazy.
With the amount of Overwatch I've been playing, I'm literally on like the last tiers
I
for.
believe it. I believe it because don't get me wrong. As much as I've been enjoying being back on Overwatch 2 this season and everything like that, I'm surprisingly shocked that I'm at the tier. Well, then again, I did pay for the extra 20 pass tiers too.
Like you paid for the extra 20.
I
I
pay.
came from like
I
well, to be fair, that's still a lot of progress though
It
if you
is
look at it.
progress. That's the thing. But the thing was though, I was getting to that point of the fact that maybe I won't be playing as much as Arturo, but I really do want to get that tier 80 skin and all that stuff because I missed the opportunity on the last two seasons on all that stuff because those tier last tier skins are lit and all that stuff. And I'm sad that I missed out on the last two. I'm not gonna miss it out on this one. Everything. So currently at 60 something for me. 65 last time. 65, 66 last time I checked.
All right,
So
so what I'm hearing is after this podcast, I'll see what the auto running settings are like, and then we'll hit up some F Night, some Fortinet.
well yeah, I still gotta get my Garrett Riviera skin because I haven't finished those challenges either. and all that stuff.
Nice, nice.
So I gotta get that skin because that's the reason why I kept playing. I mean, no, I still enjoy the game. I still enjoy Fortnite to this day. It's just we have other stuff and all that stuff and everything. We have
Mhm.
other games. We have stuff to enjoy. Like I said, I'm on.
You know,
I'm
we had our resurgence come up and everything,
which by
which
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Or no, I think we're probably gonna talk about it, but anyways, I gotta get in a tangent because thing is, Resurgence is here. I'm happy and everything like that. I'm happy Resurgence. One of the best things. Don't get me wrong. I still like El Mazra, though we have not touched it since this season yet, and all that stuff.
I think it's just so much more fun to play resurgence.
But
That's why.
Resurgence, that's why. That's the thing. And everything and all that stuff. They brought in it was only quads and all that stuff when it launched.
Yeah, so we played
Understandable.
duo quads, no field.
But it's understandable because I think they're just trying to understand the play count and then the player count and don't want to mess up anything because that happened a
Yeah.
couple times before with their with I want to say with Rebirth and then Fortune's Keep too. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I think. It's just them just making sure how the player count works and feels on the map because that is a small map and everything. That is a very small map, in my opinion, at least, and all that stuff. So lo and behold, it comes to find out they're bringing in Resurgent solos, and everything. And I got to play it Friday night, and I had a good time and everything. Closest was third. Was the closest I got. Got to try out my Hemlock class while in there. Feels
Nice,
feels
nice.
feels pretty nice and everything. With that Hemlock class and everything. Um, and then comes to find out, as of today, they removed it.
Dang.
I was so upset because I wanted to get back in it before. I wanted to get back because I kind of like, and I was like, because knowing what they're if they're gonna do a rotational thing on the party classes, it was most likely for the fact that that was gonna get rotated out probably this week, and also when they do their playlist updates and all that stuff. So I was like, you know what? Let me get some more in, play some use this opportunity to test out some other weapons, and all that stuff. And lo and behold, I find out they removed it. I'm like, are you kidding me? And
It's just too good.
I was like, come on, like solos is perfect and all that stuff and everything. I mean, it's Warzone no matter what. Yeah, people are gonna complain about Warzone no matter what and everything about what it is. But
Yeah.
I enjoy it because the fact that I could just roam around, do what I have to do. I can test out builds without having to deal with three other people that's from a team and all that stuff and everything. And it's more quicker and it's more quickly, so that way I can. It's better to test my guns out instead of being playing solos in a Mazra where I have to journey 5 minutes to find a fight and all that stuff
Yeah.
and everything. But still, fun map. It's good times and all that stuff. Just sucks that it took out solos.
Yeah, it does suck.
So
I haven't played it. The only thing I played has just been Warzone recently. I haven't even touched multiplayer in in COD for a while. Like multiplayer is good. I've heard they add some fun game modes.
it's
It's just
so
like I said, I haven't had the time to go in.
Dome. So Dome is at they
It
added
was been
Dome.
added, yeah.
Dome's been added. They finally brought in the museum map and everything. If no one remembers, museum is the map that was in the beta but never came in at launch due to some copyright stuff and all that stuff and everything. So it's finally here. Um,
They were like, you don't get.
the new they added modes and all that stuff such as gun game, infected, grind, and another one. I forget what the other one was. I've played gun game. I've had fun times. I've been playing. I played that. I've had a fun time. I almost won a couple of them and everything. And it
You're
was
like top 3.
I feel I think I've only played it 3 times. I think it was the second game that I got me top three and all that stuff. So I'm like, oh hey, I'm pulling this off. It's the fact that I was able to like start off really well. It was just like the surprising
Yeah.
part. I was like, oh, okay, I got this. And all that stuff. Well, let's have some fun. I can have some fun with this and all that stuff. So there's that. Dome is cool, has its moments. The museum map is still as good as ever. Don't know if they plan on adding that to competitive because I heard that that's a decent map to do.
Yeah.
In competitive, though, the one other thing about that is just the fact that with rank play now in, I wouldn't know because it's not in there, and I haven't tried rank play yet because it looks very, very interesting. I'm not gonna lie, so I
It
can't
does look interesting.
because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to just do it as a solo, but I know comms are like a big thing for ranked,
Yeah,
and
you're
also
like you're
I
like, "Do I
get
wanna talk to these people?"
and I get that, but I kind of found out it's like so one of the developers for the rank was talking about how SR works and everything.
Mhm,
And he pretty much like he's explained there's a long Twitter thread about it. He explains about it a lot. And then the one things that actually caught my attention is like he was saying like how so when you're in early ranks such as bronze, gold, and silver and all that stuff, it's pretty much your that's how if you feel like if you're performing real well individually, that'll give you a chance. But once you hit like diamond and higher, that's where your team abilities come in, like how you work well with it as a team and all that stuff with the team and all that stuff finally kicks in. Because I don't want to know if it's complaint or if it's just something that people are just talking about a lot and it's just something that's noticed. Like once you get into higher lobbies, your
yeah.
SR is not as you're not getting a lot of SR as you would if you're on your lower ranks and all that stuff and everything. And then some people were like, kind of complaining about it. Some people were like, what and all that stuff were just like okay. And then it was like for me it was just more the fact of like okay I mean wouldn't it my initial thought was like okay how are you performing not just as an individual but also team aspect and everything like
Yeah.
that. Are you doing your objectives? Are you playing well with the team and all that stuff and everything of depending on the mode and everything and like that and all that stuff. And then pretty much what I was already like asking these questions in my head were something that
Yeah.
the guy was kind of explaining about in a way and all that stuff of how especially in the higher lobbies and all that stuff and everything. So it's like yeah, you're gonna get a lot in your lower lobbies, more the fact that it's more focused on you as your individual play in a way. Though team your team awareness is something that's something to work on. I mean, there's also in the fact, but as soon as you get into those higher ranks, that's when it comes into play of making sure you're doing both and all that stuff. And apparently,
Makes
the highest one, which is in a decence, I think it's called. I forget the word that's the only run that you have to play as a duo. You can't do a four stack because I think you can just do four stack throughout the whole thing, most of the other ranks, except for that last one and all that stuff. And then of course
mm,
there's the top 250, which the last time I checked to get into it was 11k, 11k SP SR and all that
so
stuff.
so just basically don't have a life, guys.
Pretty much. And all that stuff. I mean, the fact that people were hitting it within the first couple of weeks is not. I mean, it's interesting, but still at the same time, it's just like if it's that easy with a couple weeks if you're grinding it if you're actually like grinding it I wonder if like someone that's doing it for the four playing it for the 4 hours a day and all that stuff because most of those times or like a couple days are not every day of the week
Yeah, well,
so
maybe like an hour or 2 a day
because
dedicated to raid.
like saying if it's like four if we did 4 hours on one night dedicated to rank i
Yeah,
I would be interested in seeing of how far we would get on that
I could test that.
and all that stuff and everything I'm interested because, like I said, I am interested in trying the rank play itself. Um, it's just more the fact and all stuff. So, and then another thing, when rank play came out, the Hemlock, because what's cool about rank play also, it already has its set of restrictions on guns and stuff on what it's play
Lame.
and all that stuff. Well, it's that's just more based off like from the Call of Duty League and all that stuff and what's
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So, but the main two guns are the for the AR is TAC 56. Um, for submachines, it's either the Lockman sub or the Vaznav. And then on the
Mm.
launch of Rank Play, which was along with season two, the Hemlock was one of those guns that was already that didn't that was part of Rank Play, and apparently it was just shredding and all that stuff the whole time. And then within a week of of a full week of rank, it already got banned from ranked and all that stuff, along with the TAC V, because apparently the TAC V was too much also. I was just like,
You
damn,
know,
bro.
I think they just need to get good and just like any GM guns, you know, should just be allowed.
Well, I mean, I
It
think it's just more of the fact
it's
of
just a skill issue.
if it, I mean, it's Call of Duty. People complain about almost anything
But yeah,
and all that stuff. So it's just, it is what it is, and all that stuff. And everyone's gonna have to complain about. Everyone's gonna complain about something within it, and all that stuff. But it's just more. I think there is more to like it. There is more to it of more an integrity part of competitive Call of Duty, which is fine. Which is fine, and all that stuff. It's just more of the fact of I don't know. It's like because I would say it's like instead of just making it so of like just banning it, nerf the gun at
makes
least,
sense to me.
and all stuff too. We always talk.
Or
We
instead
always
of like banning it too, just like if there's certain attachments that just make it better, restrict those attachments, right?
restrict the attachments too. Yeah, um, but it's just and then of course it's like well here's my thing too. So here's what I think. What sh- what should go down in the future, depending on how rank play plays out in Call of Duty in general with Call of Duty League. When a new season starts, and of course we're gonna get new guns.
Yeah.
Particularly if it's most likely if it's an AR and an SMG, more particularly, and all that stuff. Don't have it automatically. Just have it GA for the first couple weeks and all that stuff at within rank play at least, and the Call of Duty League. That way, can it be assessed of if it should be able to be in competitive, and then you make that decision of once after the first couple of weeks of seeing the gun, how the gun tests out and everything, like then you can make that decision of it's going to be in rank play or if it's not, you know, and stuff. Overwatch League used to do that for did that for heroes when they get new heroes come in at the time, and then they would not let it play for that for a couple weeks. Well, I think they still do it now. Actually, I don't know about I don't know stuff. Well, we didn't have a
Makes
new hero
sense.
this season, so I wouldn't don't remember. But I think for it's like a couple weeks and then they put them in competitive.
I wouldn't know. I just started playing Overwatch. Just
And the
started playing ranked
Yeah,
Overwatch.
and all the heroes are already available in competitive because we have a new hero this season in Overwatch. Um, but yeah, so it's like I think that's just probably they should do with it with the guns, uh particularly for new guns. I think the Hemlock is a perfect example. Should would have been a perfect example of that. Like at the start of the launch, we're not going to have this in ranked play or to compete, be able to use in Call of Duty League for the first couple of weeks until we assess if it's viable for competitive, and all that stuff. And then they make the decision
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Like or yeah, like Call of Duty's like so that was around the time season 2 came out around the same time as the current major right now. So yeah, don't have it for CDL that week, that major, and then once the next major comes in, then you can decide on if you want to bring it in or not, and all that stuff. But that's just me, and all that stuff. You know, you know, I know it's February, but you know what I love about Call of Duty in the month of February?
What do you love about Call of Duty in the month of February, Ricky?
How they're already talking about this year's game,
Mhm.
the new one.
Yeah.
We're in season 2 and all that stuff. Warzone is a viable thing to play now, sort of. Ranked plays has been implemented and all that stuff and everything like that. We're talking, and the two things I've heard about so far in the season is why this should have been at the start of the game at launch, and then the other thing is next. I can't. There's already talk about this year's title and all that stuff, and I'm like, can we just enjoy the current game we have right now and all that stuff?
Mhm.
So the thing was apparent. So of course we've talked about this before. How the thing was Call of Duty now is supposed to be on a 2 year cycle for each new title, and all that stuff. And apparently, what it sounded like the thing was they were gonna release something. They are planning on releasing something this year, but it's more of a continuation of the current of what the game is. This one being Modern Warfare 2, for this one, and it was supposed to be more of an expansion type of thing. Now it's sounding like it is still gonna be like that, but more of a full fledged game with a full $70 price tag to it. And I'm just when I see it, I'm like, yeah, it's an overblown expansion. This is nothing surprising. If it sound from what it sounds like, people are talking about it like how it sounds like a premium title game, and I'm just like, do you do, like what is your purpose? What is this like what is it? Just because the fact that they said yeah,
Mhm.
so it is a because it was supposed to be a premium expansion, but it's now a standalone release, as this article says in Eurogamer and all that stuff. Yeah, it's been morphed into a full game, dude.
You know,
It's an
I just think that I just think that Call of Duty doesn't know how to release DLC.
well, no, my thing, how I see it, like, dude, it's an overblown expansion. They're just
Yeah.
they're just saying it's a full game before the fact, so that way they have a title to come out this year. Though it's still it is said to be a continuation of Modern Warfare 2, which is not surprising there. Um, they're gonna it's supposed to make sure everything that's in Modern Warfare 2 now be carried over into this one. Also, not surprising and all that stuff. And the only difference is it's not gonna be it's a different developer doing this. The current developer for Modern Warfare 2 is well, the main overall developer is Infinity Ward, which of course they are the original developers of Call of Duty and Modern Warfare in general. And also, this one is led by Sledgehammer Games. Now, Sledgehammer Games are the lead Call of Duty developers that's done the last two World War II type games, which is World War II and Vanguard. And of course, when you hear those two games, people are already going to say stuff about it and all that stuff
They're gonna talk correct.
and all that stuff and everything like that. Honestly, never played World War II, so I can't say anything about that. Vanguard, criticism aside, it's just a fun game just to be on for an hour or so, just to go through, just because of the pacing of it and all that stuff. So it's just fun to get through it all that stuff just for a good hour and all that stuff. That's it and all that stuff. Yeah, when you're playing the multiplayer campaign story was pretty cool and all that stuff. Zombies, nobody's gonna talk about that and everything like that and all that stuff.
Zombies. I'm
Though
like, really?
though it was Treyarch that did Treyarch are the ones that did the zombie mode and all that stuff. It's just the implementation of it and what it was going for didn't pan out the way they wanted it to be. And also, because people love their round based maps and all that stuff, not this open one thing to get another thing and all that stuff and everything like that. But hey, I'm not gonna complain here. And all that stuff. So yeah, so it's supposed to be a brand new game. They people, it's morphed into a full game. People are starting to revert to themselves as this is going back to their whole annual status. Me, I'm just like, nah. This feels like just they're just adding more to the current Modern Warfare stuff. They are gonna call it a full game because it's supposed to include a campaign and all that stuff and everything and all that stuff, which is fine and all that stuff and all that stuff. But that's the point. This is a full blown expansion. This is an overblown expansion. That's all it is. And that's the thing though. That's what I'm gonna feel like when this comes out, and then people are gonna say this is an overpriced expansion. Like
Mm.
no, duh. Like
I
no,
mean, like, have you looked at Pokemon's expansions?
which we're gonna get to in a bit. But the thing is, like, as someone that's gonna commit to this, like, I'm about to get I if not or I've already had purchased Destiny 2 Lightfall expansion, which is $50 and all that stuff. It's $50 for that expansion and all that stuff. It's 99 if I wanted to do the extra stuff, which gives you the annual pass, which gives you all the season passes for the seasons, for the 4 seasons and all that stuff. But I was just like, and all stuff. But no, it's $50 for that expansion. The common I'm looking up World of Warcraft. What is it called? Dragonflight was the recent expansion. see here. That is $50. That is $50. I think that's just for the expansion, right? Yeah, that's just the expansion. Base. I don't know. I don't know what it costs, but the fact that expansion is $50, I'm like, we're gonna. Oh, it's additional $20 and all that stuff. Pretty much because they're gonna full price at the 70, for this stuff because it's Activision overall and everything. But at the end of the day, it's like it's gonna people are just gonna say what I'm gonna say right now of what it is right now, an overpriced expansion and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's people are gonna say it's like it adds nothing and all that stuff, and we'll get nothing out of it. Well, duh, and all that stuff. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's Call of Duty, and most likely, as Call of Duty does almost every single year, it's gonna sell and all that stuff and everything. Unfortunately, which sucks. I mean, it's not that it sucks. It's just for the fact it's like it always feels like the people that complain about the game, and then the people who just buy it in general. That people that complain is a very small circle outside of that is within that bunch because it's a Call of Duty community, and it's just you have the people that complain about the game and all stuff. You have that competitive community and all stuff, and you have the people that just buy it and all that stuff. And I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. There are complaints about the game and everything, and I totally agree. Both on a game itself, a competitive side of it, Warzone and what it brings and all that stuff and everything. There is a complaint for every single thing within it and all that stuff and everything. And it sucks that it doesn't they don't it seems like they don't get it and all that stuff. Um but at the same time it's just like we have to there has to be some kind of discourse to make sure that all works together. And I feel like Activision's kind of trying to do that with the start of Modern Warfare 2 and trying to make this whole cohesive unity kind of thing with all the development studios and all that stuff. But then again, it's like it's a wholly different thing with the whole Activision micro Xbox purchase that's still ongoing and everything with that too. So we'll see how that goes if that ever if that happens. Um, and everything like because it's like it's like a thing like they're starting from scratch in a way, but at the same time, it's just like people are going to talk. The thing is, people always talk about the whole why are they not like this and all that stuff? Why is it not like how it used to be and everything like that and everything? And I'm just like, this nostalgia
Like
factor is
just
the nostalgia factor is getting a little too much too crazy and everything because it always feels like do you want them to grow and get better and try to improve things and bring us new stuff, or do you just want everything to go back to normal of what it used to be and all stuff? And yeah, it probably was a cool thing what they had when it first or what they had originally, but will that grow? Do you, we will that is that ever gonna grow and all that stuff? We don't. Yeah, you won't. That's the thing. You won't know until one of these developers make actual changes or something like that. And it's just like, what can you do? And everything. And what was I had one more thing. Oh
you're like, I
no,
had one more
just
gripe.
no. It's not a gripe. It's more of a. It's
No, I
just
know, I know.
well, technically it's a gripe, but more. No, it's the term nerf and buff. I think I'm getting kind of stressed out about those terms now because when we hear when you hear those words and they say I'm like, oh, this gun got a like particularly Call of Duty particularly, oh, this gun got a buff. I mean, a nerf got nerfed, and then they test out the gun. It's like it feels the same and all that stuff. And then like you look at the patch notes, and it's like when you see the number changes, it's like maybe like a one number numeral number down, and I'm like thinking, I'm like looking at this, and I'm like, that's not a nerf or a buff. That's just a minimal change. In all honesty, and everything. the way that people nowadays that talk about nerfs and buffs, it's supposed to be this gradual change in general and all that stuff. That's what they make it sound like that, and I get that. But at the same time, if if something that shows a a decrease from of a -1, I don't think that makes it in me, just like to me at least, and everything like that. It doesn't make it feel like that big difference and all that stuff. Now, if like it was a decrease from a 10 point, then I can be like, oh, this got nerfed and all that stuff, or an increase of +5 maybe. That's a buff and all that stuff. If it's an increase or a
Yup,
decrease of
yup.
1, it's like this is a minimal change. This is not a nerf nor a buff. The minimal change.
Like I feel like buffs and nerfs nowadays, like obviously, I believe in emergency nerfs, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's something I do believe in, where like something is way too strong, you know play around it.
Yeah.
Because I remember back in the day, if something was good or bad, it was good or bad, and you just had to play around it.
Yeah.
If your favorite weapon was like one of the worst weapons in the game, you would find a niche. You become a one trick. There's different ways to like combat buffs and nerfs. Some buffs do feel really nice, or some reworks feel really nice with either certain weapons in certain games, things like that. For instance, I play a lot of Brawl Stars,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've been with that game for Jesus Christ, I've been with that game for 4 years now. So I've been with it ever since launch, back in like no, 2019 and 2018, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that that game has gone through a lot of reworks, but that's
Mm-hmm.
because like they're always adding new characters. We have a roster of like what 64 characters now that you can have into this game,
Damn.
and like yeah, and they're adding two more next season, which is literally next week. They did so much right now. They basically reworked the whole game. Um, well, not the mechanics, but well, a little bit of the mechanics. But yeah, there's like new things that they introduced. Like they introduced like gadgets, new super star powers, things like that. And obviously for those, you do have to like buff and nerf depending on how things play out. Because I think the way they also look at it too is just like pick rates for certain weapons and pick rates for certain brawlers.
Mm-hmm.
And then for I feel like first person shooter games, I feel like weapons are just such a hard thing to balance because in the end of the day, people are gonna look at TTK and be like, "Oh, yep, that's what I want the most," and I'm like, mm, mm. Especially with PC gamers being dominant with aim, and you know, we as controller players have to adjust aim
On console,
on console.
that don't forget, because like that's another factor too. It's like, oh, they're not that good because they're playing a controller on a console. That's another gripe I can't do. That just like, oh my god. And
There's a lot of skill. No, just kidding.
news update. I just bought Lightfall.
Good,
Tuesday
good.
night is gonna be a
So so
fun time.
so it wasn't by Wednesday. It was by
Oh no,
right now.
technically, like I said earlier in the episode, it's like I haven't bought it yet at the time of recording, but by the time this episode comes out, I most likely already bought it by then. So technically, I was right on both fronts.
Oh gosh.
Just saying. I'm just saying, and all that stuff. Am I excited? Yes, because I just want to play this. The story sounds cool and the new power looks awesome. But anyway, center here or there. The thing is, again, I just don't. I think the term nerf and buff are getting a little overused now, and feeling very overrepresentative in a way. If that's the right term I'm looking for, overrepresentative, stuff. Because again, when I see these, oh, was I still in the? Oh, okay, I was. Oh, that was weird. Um, I was still in the Xbox party chat for some reason when we left.
How? I was like, I'm not even. My
I
Xbox turned
was,
off.
I was, um, I because the thing, like I said, when I see a change again like that's down 1 point or a point something, that's not a nerf. nor a buff. That's a minimal change and all that stuff and everything. And hearing the terms decreased damage range doesn't def- tell me of how big of a change that was.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing too is that with this Call of Duty, right? So Call of Duty Vanguard, for instance,
Let me start with
we literally got stats, at least in like the created class system, we got stats for every attachment, everything that we added and showed us the specific meters. And then in the game where we have so much more, they don't even show us what, you know, what's good, what's not, or like what is actually hurting our aim, what's increasing our range, what's increasing our bullet velocity. Sure, it says it, but sometimes some things that it says does not really mean it. Or there's certain weapons that do the same thing, and you want to wonder. I'm like, oh, do they actually do the same thing?
yeah.
It's just a lot of wondering for what to do. It's a lot of testing, and thankfully we have we're in a day and age where we have like a lot of different ways we can do that. For instance, one of my favorite people to go to for weapons test and attachments is exclusive Ace or JGod for YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and check out their channels and see what's up. But I'm like, dude,
Well, yeah,
so much.
it is a lot. It's a task within itself and all that stuff. Or you can just be like me and just put on whatever, and if it feels right, it feels right.
Not
Um,
same.
and everything. But yeah, but that's just me in general about just nerfs and buffs in general and all that stuff and everything. Because the fact that because like to put switch to a different game, which is Apex, the R99 got a increase on a 1 point increase. I forgot what it was. I think it was damage range. I don't remember. And then all of a sudden, I'm just seeing 50 million stuff about how the R99 is back. I'm like, what?
Or for me, because I've been playing a lot of Overwatch recently, and my feed has been filled with Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
The Sombra update with her .5 damage increase, right?
Here's the thing about Sombra, and this is me coming off of formerly technically of a Sombra main when I was playing Overwatch 1. From
Yeah.
that last time I've played to playing her now, that's a nerf. I mean, a buff to me, and that's because I haven't played her in so long. The fact that it's like you can play, you can. There's no timer on her invisibility and all that stuff. Her
Oh yeah.
what was it? Her hacks feel a little bit more faster than the last time I played her. Uh, and everything, and I was like, ooh, these changes are nice and all that stuff and everything.
Yeah,
Physical
see,
change.
we find the changes nice because we're like, ooh, fun, more damage. But then the community that has to go up against Sombra,
Oh,
because
which is
keep
me.
in mind
I'm both
when you
ways. I'm both sides on that. I'm both sides. Like
because
playing with her, awesome. Playing against her, it's a pain in the ass.
yeah, because like you said, the invisibility lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially when you hack, you do
And if I'm correct, I don't even.
increased damage.
The cool time is not even that slow. If I remember correctly, her cooldown
Oh
on
no,
that is not that. It's not that slow,
it's like 4 seconds.
which is not that bad.
Or yeah,
Which I mean, it's it's something like it's in that somewhat middle, but a little bit quick in a way,
yeah.
depending on the situation.
Because I think the way that we would balance Sombra, because like I mean the Overwatch community was saying like, oh, I think the developers focus too much on giving Sombra more damage. Sure, she is a DPS, but we gotta also look at her, character traits.
Yeah,
Because in the end of the day, she is a hacker.
yeah,
And what would be nice is that she focused more on hacking the enemy, and the enemy would have like a longer hack time. But the downside would be like
hack time
increased cooldown.
is a little too fast. Is a little too fast. It goes
Yeah.
away a little too fast. I don't like that.
Or a way somebody actually put it for me is that they were like, not put it for me, a YouTube video that I was watching was just like saying for Sombra's hack, for instance, right? So imagine um you hack an opponent, right? And they're hacked for 8 seconds, right?
Yeah,
Or for instance, they have a hack on. They have it for like the standard, which is 1.5 seconds, which is right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as Sombra, you have a chance to increase that hack time by doing more damage to the opponent, or they could decrease that hack time by attacking back at Sombra. That way, there's counterplay to the hack,
Yeah.
and then it would work with the same way with EMP and everything. Because also another thing about EMP, 40% of your health is gone, just like that. you
Mm-hmm.
know, makes the Sombra ult with the Sigma ult. That's everybody's just gone. Not just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was like the one things I've noticed. Like Sombra was like since coming back season 3 and Overwatch,
hmm
that that was literally out of everyone I played that I've used to play. Sombra feels more different from the last time I played back in Overwatch 1. Feels more different and all that stuff. Outside of Orisa and all that stuff. And and all that stuff. And I remember those days where it was an even split, but it was majority of I used Sombra was mainly used the majority for hacking too when I had played her and all that
Yeah,
stuff. But playing her now, it does feel more of a DPS style than it is a hacking style and everything. And I think that's just because of the fact that the hacks are very short. So it's like you need to be careful of like who you gotta hack and then do what you need to do. And then her teleport, that's been more useful to me now than it has been in the past. I don't remember why exactly, but they've been more helpful now than they have been in the past. And also, but I don't remember why. I don't know why though. That's the thing. Because I've been having fun with using that too, and all that stuff. There's times where I was like, I place it, do what I gotta do, and hit the button to hop back. There's times where I would be like, I'm about to engage. I toss it over the enemy, and then hit it, and then go and then hit and then like kind of like go back, hit him from behind, and all that stuff. And like I'm doing like these kind of trick moves in a way with her
yeah.
and all that stuff. So it's like it's been fun doing that and all that stuff. But it's been I
And also, there is new developer changes coming to Overwatch
mid
soon
season.
again.
Yeah, the mid season
Yeah,
stuff is happening. I've been
you know,
actually I forgot to actually check that out because there are some
we're
pretty
gonna
good
get a
stuff.
Brigitte rework, I
That's gonna be
believe.
interesting. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, so they're gonna rework her ult, I believe, which I think Rally is a good ult. I just think that the community doesn't really know how to use it well.
Mm,
At least, the casual players.
yeah. Yeah. We'll see what that happens. I mean, so I've already brought it up once, and we've been on this kind of tangent with Activision and Blizzard games and all that stuff. I haven't talked about it on the podcast in a while and all that stuff because it's like it's not much to talk about until it goes through, and that is the Microsoft Xbox Activision deal. Um, as of right now, it looks like it's right now you can look at it and say it's a 50-50 thing. Um, but from what it sounds like, people are saying like this from what I see, it's like it says people say that it might not go through, but at the same time, it's just like the the responses and what people have done and what Microsoft has done to make sure to get this deal through is like literally been like ups and bounds and it's like to like make this deal go through. And
Yeah.
but the thing is like people are still being fickle about it. About like are will they make pretty much the focus has the one thing the focus has been on the deal itself, not just from within a within the who people who are closely following this, but from who are looking at it from the outside in. They're just like it's Call of Duty is the focus, and it's like, and I'm just like, why is everybody focusing on this one game and all that stuff? And I get it; it's one of the biggest selling games of all every year and all that stuff, and it's people will play it all. People will play a lot on every single platform on all that stuff. But the thing is, though, it's like, and Xbox has been saying this since the purchase, since the announcement of the deal. X Call of Duty is gonna stay on PlayStation no matter what, and all that stuff. It's gonna stay, and they've been saying that since the deal. They've been saying they just made like two big announcements and everything, and it's where it literally could change everything for this deal. Well, I mean they've established that they would do this too if it had to come to this. So, but I guess it made it official. They've signed a 10-year agreement to with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to those to Nintendo platforms. Now,
So,
would
you
that mean
know,
is it
Al Mazrah for the Switch. No,
well, is it a full-fledged game that's coming to Call of Duty? I mean, who knows? I mean, this is the Switch we're talking about. Will we see like a cloud version of Call of Duty and all that stuff? I mean, that's most likely. That's like the most likely chance. Or will it be like something like, I don't want to say stripped down because it doesn't make sense. But more something more polished, having like a battle royale, like having Warzone into on the Switch in a more smaller scale and everything. And I mean, I can see that happening too and all that stuff. But it's just like the fact that that's actually an agreement and it's agreed. It's gonna happen if the deal goes through and all that stuff. They made another big deal with where so one of the gripes of the deal was also that was cloud gaming, and then how Xbox has like a kind of like a controlled sense of the market of that. There's other players in play, like there's Nvidia with GeForce Now. There was Google with Stadia, but that's no longer a thing. Amazon with Luna, which is still somewhat of a thing. Um, and of course Xbox with Xbox Cloud Gaming via if you have a Game Pass subscription, Ultimate subscription. Now, Nvidia they made another deal with Nvidia where they're gonna put all their PC titles, their Xbox first party, Bethesda will be included in the deal, and Activision and Blizzard games, if the deal goes through, will be on Cloud4 streaming services and all that stuff, which is a big deal and all that stuff because that's that shows that they're willing to put their own titles on a different streaming cloud platform and all that stuff outside of their own and everything. And then of course, if it does include, if the deal goes through, it will include other titles outside of Call of Duty like Overwatch, World of Warcraft, whatever, and the other Activision games. So that's a big thing. So now, of course, the elephant in the room, of course, that's been against this for a while is, of course, PlayStation, because they think if Call of Duty goes exclusive, it'll hurt their business, which is from my standpoint of my thing ideal from it is like that doesn't sound true. That doesn't sound true because one, you have a good first party portfolio and all that stuff with your games and all that stuff. I mean, hell, uh, what was it? Fuck, uh, Ragnarok was a very is a one of their popular selling games of the year and all that stuff. You're not going to lose out on anything, and then plus it's like you're the one company that shouldn't be talking about games going exclusive on a platform and all that stuff, especially if they're buying it when they said they're not going to do that. And when you have the next main Final Fantasy title game as your exclusive. Yeah, you don't own Square Enix, but the fact that you went out your way to spend money to get a highly anticipated game, Final Fantasy VII, the next Final Fantasy game, and then Final Fantasy VII remake, that's exclusive on Sony. That hasn't come to Xbox yet, and all that stuff. And then you have these deals, these random third party deals where PlayStation players get exclusive content. Speaking of which, bringing it back to Call of Duty and PlayStation. So as I've talked about this before, and of course Arturo knows this, I have Modern Warfare 2 on both platforms. I paid the $100 Volt Edition on the PlayStation, and then a $70 title for Xbox. Why? Because I'm stupid and all that stuff. And but neither here or there. So thing was, PlayStation players, get this exclusive operator, Oni. Looks nice, pretty cool, and everything like that. Here's the thing about that thing for it being exclusive, and I mean exclusive and all that stuff. It does
Ah!
not it does not appear on on the Xbox version whatsoever. It's the same account and all that stuff and everything like that with via the crossplay and the Activate and the IDs linked in and all that stuff. I can care less about cross save and cross progression bullshit because the fact that if it was that big of a deal about not having that stuff, my stats would be separate on both compound, all that stuff, and everything like that. But here's the thing: Oni is not only not visible on the Xbox version. When I'm playing in game with Arturo, if I'm using that Oni skin, he does not see that skin.
He's just the default.
I'm a default on his perspective and all that
Nah,
stuff
you're not a default. You're like one of the dudes with like the freaking
with the mustache and everything.
helmet.
Yeah,
Nah, that's
it's
my
the one.
character.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah, I have my own skin in the game now, guys.
Yeah.
So-
So it's like that's one thing. That's one thing already. The fact that that is that kind of exclusive, where it doesn't even pop up on someone who's playing on a different platform, and that's a pain in the butt. Secondly, again, I have the Volt edition on the PlayStation. That gives me the four exclusive the other operators: Ghost, Farah, Soap, and Price. In with these Ghost style attires, I can't use those on the Xbox version. It will literally tell me to buy the Volt edition on Xbox to use those operators and all that stuff. Now again, another thing, I bought a CDL skin, LA Thieves. I bought that on PlayStation. I cannot use that CDL skin on the Xbox version and all that stuff. It shows it locked. It's gonna ask me. It's gonna recommend me about buying on the Xbox. Now, as crazy as that sounds, now I bought I bought a skin at the start of this season, and then at last season I bought the gas bundle that came with a special skin if a special skin if you complete the raid. Those two skins work perfectly fine on both platforms. It's the other stuff that I have to pay real money for that doesn't want to work.
Mm,
It is ridiculous.
you know, it's just meant to happen.
But the thing is at the end of the day, like I get it. Microsoft is buying a whole full blown company, where Sony is doing these shady ass deals, in my opinion. Now, to the fact to a point of where I can't, my own friend cannot see the operator nor the skin nor operator on his platform. I can't show that off to my friends that are playing on other platforms and all that stuff and everything. That's stupid.
That is very stupid.
But at the same time, though, what's even more crazy about it, the voice lines. If whenever they talk, when my subtitles pop up, it says the operator's name, Oni. But
Mm,
I'm playing it on Xbox. I'm like, come on. Like I get it. It's a timed exclusive for like a year, but no. If I'm willing to pay the extra $100 and pre-order this game to get that stuff, and I get it, it's locked on to this. At least my friends on the other platform should be able to see it at least and all that stuff. It shouldn't be that locked down where I could. Yeah, it gives me the opportunities to know like, oh, I know who's on PlayStation just based off the Oni operator and all that stuff. But no, it shouldn't be like that at all and everything. So, and this is not me trying to sound like an exploit fanboy, but it's like I'm not gonna trip about it about Call of Duty going to say if they did make it exclusive. I wouldn't trip because you want to know why? That just gives the opportunity. It gives the opportunity of some other developer to make the next Call of Duty on a multi-platform to make it multi-platform and all that stuff. That's the point of this and everything like that. That's like one of the great things of the game of of the video game industry and all that stuff like that, there's opportunity to make the next big thing and all that stuff more in the gaming industry than it is in the other two and all that stuff. And it's just the fact. But again, I'm not gonna. Again, they said they're gonna keep it on multi-platform. And then no one's talking about the other games like Overwatch, Diablo, and all that stuff and everything like that. Games that are well, Overwatch 2 is multi-platform currently. Diablo 4, when that comes out, it's gonna be multi-platform and all that stuff. So no one's talking about those two. Well, and there's no way in hell you're gonna talk about World of Warcraft because that's a PC only title and all that stuff. So you can't complain anything about there and all that stuff. And I think that's maybe why, but that doesn't make sense still and everything. But at the same time, it's just like you saying Xbox is gonna make Call of Duty well exclusive is the dumbest thing I've heard because have you not heard of Minecraft? And did you not know that Xbox owns that? Like they bought that company, kept Minecraft. Oh, here's it. Not only kept Minecraft multi-platform, but have released two spin-off. Well, released one spin-off game, and there's one that is coming out pretty soon, and all stuff. I.e., Minecraft Dungeons and Minecraft Legends. Announced those titles, and with Dungeons at launch, and then soon to be Legends at launch, it's coming out multi-platform and all that stuff. Both PlayStation, PS4, PS5, Switch, and everything. So you cannot say that Xbox wouldn't Xbox goes and wouldn't do that. Wouldn't keep it multi-platform when Minecraft is the best example for that and all that stuff.
Sure.
And the other, and then you can
And
talk
it's
about,
still relevant.
and it's still relevant. Yes, Minecraft is still relevant and all that stuff. I'm just saying, it's like people who talk about this, whoever do talk about this deal, and then just say like, oh, Xbox is gonna go, they're gonna make Call of Duty go exclusive. Clearly, you've never played, you don't know about Minecraft and everything, because again, the main game itself, multi-platform, Minecraft Dungeons, which came out, launched multi-platform. Minecraft Legends, when that comes out, is going to launch multi-platform. And again, it's a relevant game and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm confident that Microsoft would keep Call of Duty multi-platform and all that stuff. And so and it's all Sony needs to do is just man up and just deal with it. Really. And all that stuff. So
I mean,
it
makes
is what
sense
it
to
is.
me. It is what it is. Really is.
I mean, it's. Oh, and here's the other. Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry.
Mm.
So the one other thing about this deal, for the fact that they think they're not they're focusing the deal as it's Microsoft versus PlayStation when they really need to look at Xbox versus PlayStation because everyone's saying like, well, Microsoft has this big money. Well, yeah, Microsoft as a company has other divisions, Office, Windows, Surface products, and all that stuff and everything like that. There's more to that company outside of Xbox. And if you're looking at from a video game market share point between the two, PlayStation has more market share in all that stuff than Xbox does, and all that stuff. And if you include Nintendo in that, and all that stuff, that makes Xbox at least no, and honest to goodness, third between those three, and all that stuff. If you're looking on a worldwide perspective, and all that stuff, it may not sound like that here in America, and all that stuff, but around the world, Xbox has a smaller video game market share than the other two, and all that stuff. So to say that this might make Microsoft a monopoly is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, true, true.
And then studios
It's not a
there's
monopoly.
and there's always brand new studios that always get in that come out of the woodworks in video games and all that stuff. So it's not like we're losing stuff out of this and as an overall industry. Okay, now I'm done. I'm off that tangent now.
No, you're done.
I'm off that tangent.
You know, since we're still on the topic of games, though,
God damn it.
because there's just so much happening with gaming
It's only
right
February.
now.
I mean March
It,
is about
it
to
is
start.
only February.
Correction. It's only March because it comes out on
Oh,
March 1st.
true, true. It's only February. No, just kidding. But you know, today, at least the day we're recording, is Pokemon Day. So,
No, it's go ahead talk and I'll say.
no, say it.
No, here's okay. So Pokemon Day happened. Today's
Yeah,
Pokemon Day. Well, I
yeah.
mean they've had festivities beforehand and all that stuff, but today was the day.
Naturally.
Today is Pokemon Day, officially Pokemon Day as they are recording this. And every time around this time, they do their annual Pokemon Presents video presentation, and where they announce stuff, what's coming out, what they plan on, what new stuff they're doing. Hopefully, we'll learn more and more about like what's going to happen on the video game front and everything like that. Anything interesting. I mean, of course, like Pokemon World Championships is happening in Japan in August for the very first time, which shocked the heck
For
out
the
of me.
very first time.
Which actually shocked me, in all honesty, and all that stuff. And uh, we're getting there's new content coming out for like their other stuff such as Pokemon Unite and Pokemon Masters EX. We're getting a Netflix stop motion show coming out soon, pretty soon, and everything, which is well, I mean, it looks
That's gonna
interesting.
be pretty cool.
It looks interesting. I'm not gonna lie, and stuff. Um, I think one of the I don't want to say it's gonna be one of those things where it's like this is gonna come out at a later time and be sold at a very high expensive price, which is the Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic kit they got out. Which, by the way, the stuff when they were showing that video and they showed off like that this part portion of the thing and they were showing like the mat and all that stuff and then like these stack 10 things. I was like I mean I barely played the card game in the beginning in the early stages and like I played here and there. I don't remember that kind of stuff.
I think it's some new things that are added.
It feels like it because I was like, if that's the, I'm like, I swear, if that was a thing when this during my time playing card games, playing trading card game, I would be like, where were those and all that stuff? Because I didn't see those and all that stuff. I played in a tournament one time. I lost in the first round, but still, I don't remember that. I went to a, I went to a,
You lost because you didn't have that recognition.
that's probably why. No. Here's the thing. I went to there was like they did like this Pokemon event thing where like they would have it in certain malls and you would like um the one that I went to with my dad, it was like in San Mateo, and because they didn't have nothing out here in near us at the time, and it's like it's an event. You can play a card game with against the people. There was like these particular Elite Four style master players you can
Mm,
go against if you wanted to. I did and lost horrib and lost bad embarrassingly. In all honesty, I got my butt kicked in like 4 turns, I think. Um, but still, I don't remember those stacking things. I remember the circle things that had the 10 on the 10 to know of your hit marks and all that stuff. See, because I saw that, I was like, what? Was that a thing? But anyways, but the thing is about that one, the fact that they said you'll get a sneak peek at World Championships told me two things. This isn't coming out this year, and it's gonna be priced at a very high. It's gonna be priced very high and all that stuff for it. So I was like, I'm not gonna get this because I'm not gonna deal with that because it's gonna be hard to get.
it makes sense to me.
That stuff. Um, Pokemon Unite, they added a new Pokemon. The one of the legendaries from Sword and Shield. Zacian, that one.
Hmm. Yeah, they got new things with that. I think the biggest thing though, because it's been like announced. Well, it wasn't announced, but we've heard about Pokemon Sleep.
We no, it was announced. It just we haven't heard about it since then.
Yeah, and how long ago was that? I was like
2-3 years ago. It
years
was
ago. Yeah,
it was 2-3 years ago. I want to say,
yeah.
and I
Because
was like,
I know people were making memes about it, like Pokemon Home, Pokemon Go, go home and sleep.
yeah, I think this was the year. Like, I think within the first year of the Switch's life
Yeah, because I
cycle.
know. Yeah, because it was like released same time
Yeah,
near Let's Go, right?
yeah,
So that way you could transfer your Pokemon.
yeah,
And um, yeah, it was crazy because like we got home for so long. We're like, all right, sleep has always been in the back of our mind, and then we're finally getting Pokemon Sleep, which is just funny to me and which is interesting.
I I'm not surprised. I was looking at it. I was like, okay, it's what we thought it was gonna be. It's
Exactly what we thought it was.
yeah, it's
Help
just
gamers get sleep because
yeah,
uh, we Nintendo knows that they put Pokemon trainers be shiny hunting or competitive grinding for too long and be like, "Yo, go to sleep, man."
yeah. So it's not
I think the
surprising.
worst thing though is when I've seen on Twitter, it's like when somebody posted, they're like, when I said I wanted to sleep with Pokemon, this isn't what I meant, and I'm like, what did you say?
Dear Lord. The one thing
Yeah,
about
dude.
it though, and I think we're gonna talk about this later. Well, with one of the other announcements, with the big announcements, it's coming out in July. I'm like, bruh, you've been doing this thing for oh no, summer. My bad, summer. The Pokemon Go Plus comes out on July 14th. That's another thing in itself, and all that stuff. Um, it's more the fact like you've had this going on for 2-3 years now, 4 years at least, if I'm correct, and you're not dropping this like closer and all that stuff. Like okay, okay. Like we'll see how that goes. See how that goes. I mean, most likely there's gonna be people that's gonna use it and all that stuff, and it is gonna most likely, especially if you have the new accessory, it'll help out with Pokemon and stuff like that for research and everything like that. So there's that.
Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. But yeah, lot of fun stuff coming up with Pokemon. I am excited for like their new show that's gonna come out
Yeah,
because I'm always a fan of stop motion.
it is
Um,
gonna be interesting. It is gonna be interesting.
so
Honestly,
so that is gonna be
at
very cool to see.
at first I thought when they talked about it, when they brought her, the person from Netflix, they were gonna show. I thought they were gonna talk about the next cartoon show, not cartoon season,
Yeah,
and also because the
I,
the current one, well, in America at least, is heading towards the end because they just released the new episodes for that one on Netflix because the only way to watch it is on Netflix for the English dubs ones, and I thought it was gonna be that, and then it said head of content Netflix APAC, which is like Asia Pacific and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be something different. I know it is, and then they showed the stop motion trailer. I was like, oh yeah, I was right. It was
and I'm like, I'm all for it.
I'm like this is interesting. Um, and then
Oh my gosh! And then they were announcing just a couple Sword and Shield stuff and everything. And then I'm over here looking at the comments and whatnot,
oh
and
for
people were like,
Masters EX,
"Yeah."
yeah.
So they added Leon to it, and then they're bringing back some of the champions this season for rotation
Mhm.
for people that do keep up with Pokemon. Uh,
So
Masters EX.
Hop, Bede, and Marine, who are of course your friends slash rivals in the game from Sword and Shield, will be now in this with their as Neo champions, and then yeah, Leon is coming back if you've played this game before.
Yeah, I mean, I played it for a little bit, and I was just like, "Yeah, no, thank you." Well, not the yeah, no, thank you. It was just more of just like, "Damn,
It's
I'm gonna
not
have
for
to
me.
invest a lot of time into
For
this."
me, it was like it's not for me. I'm not gonna.
I'm like, I've already played Fire Emblem Heroes. I invested so much time into that, and I'm like, Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then on to the final portion of the show, which most likely everyone was waiting for, and all that stuff. Uh, Scarlet and Violet announced their next two DLCs. The overall title is called Hidden Treasure of Area Zero. Part one will be called the Teal Mask, and then part two is called the Indigo Disc. For this. Now, the interesting part of this for these two titles, part one will be released in fall of this year, and then the Indigo Disc will release in the winter of this year. Now, in Sword and Shield, when they did the expansion packs for those two games, first one was in the summer, the next one was in the like fall winter time. So there was a much big separation between those and all that stuff, which I thought was fine, but I found interesting for the fact that these two are now technically next to each other and all that stuff within at least within months and all that stuff. So I'm kind of interested in seeing of how that's going to play out
Yeah.
for that stuff.
So remember, guys, when you're buying Pokemon, you're paying like what, $50,
So if so so
and then
price so pricing is up, pricing is up. So if you're getting into this for the first time, and which is surprising, and all that stuff, not including you, Arturo, and all that stuff. You've had your reasons and all that stuff. So I let you. That's why I'm kind of letting it slide.
I have the money to buy it. I'm just like, do I want to buy it now
Well,
or
the
a
up.
little
Well, it's funny you mention it. There is an update as of the day of this recording where it's supposed to fix all that stability issues that they've been having
later?
and all stuff. And so far, from what I heard, it seems nice. Okay, but anyways, so Scarlet and Violet are $50.99 each, or if you want to do both, it's $119.99 and all that stuff. If you wanted to get both, but now with the expansions out, if you want to do one version with the expansion pack, it's $94.99, so it's $95. If you already have the games and they're planning on getting the expansions, they are $35 a piece, depending on the version you get. So make sure you buy the one for the version you have and all that stuff for that. And then also I don't know if they're still available, but the Nintendo Switch OLED model Scarlet and Violet edition are available on sale again. If it's still available. This was like on the 24th of February. So if you're interested in that.
So I might be gone.
So it might be gone and all that stuff.
But yeah. Speaking of balance changes as well,
One more thing.
they're adding more Pokemon.
Okay, so yeah, so with the expansions, of course, just like the Sword and Shield, they will be adding more Pokemon to these ones, and these are going to be Pokemon from previous titles and all that stuff,
It's
along
gonna
with some new
shift the
legendaries,
meta for VGC.
along with well, yeah, most likely, and then most likely will provide, and then of course there'll be some legendaries you'll see in these games. I think I had them popped up here. Give me a sec as I start looking for this. These are characters. Those are the other thing I'm gonna talk about. Okay, so hero. So there's, of course, there's one for each main one for the particular part. We have an Ogerpon, which we'll see in the part one, and then Terrapagos, which is in part two. In part one, you'll get to meet the heroes of Kitankami. It's Okidogi, Monkadori, and Fizzipedidi. I don't know that last one's a bird looking thing. So those ones you're gonna see. Uh, and then pretty much, of course, as we mentioned earlier, you will get a chance to get Pokemon from previous games when these expansions comes out. You're looking at a total of over 230 from both parts together and all that stuff. So, and then most likely there's going to be a chance of certain Pokemon being specific to that version of within that expansion pack too. So be on the lookout for that too. Now, also, which is actually happening right now for the next 2 weeks, as of the day we're recording this, there are two new Terra Raid battle events. Don't ask me what they are because I haven't beat the game yet. But pretty much the raid, but if you're familiar with raiding and Sword and Shield, there. Um, and we're getting 2 new raids that involve Paradox Pokemon. I would explain this again, but I haven't fully beat the game yet, so I don't know what Paradox Pokemon are technically and all that stuff. Uh, but they're available. There is an event period happening on between today, which is the 27th of February, until March 12th. For this, you can only catch them once per save file. So
Yep, yep.
and all that stuff.
So save and then just like reset your game and then say no.
If only Pokemon Home was available at that time. Oh wait, yeah, they announced that's happening early 2023. So within the next few months, uh, pretty much. Uh, though
So
this
the
is
next
though this is a limited time event, a 2 week event. They will plan on appearing again in future events. So if you miss out this
so
time
not
around,
all is lost.
yeah. So you won't if you miss out this time around, you'll be able to do it again this next time. They are called Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, and they're pretty much familiarity to similar legendary Pokemon too. And I'll let you guys guess that for that stuff. And that's pretty much it. And all that stuff. There's some Scarlet Violet and Pokemon Go integration that involves like postcards and then a Vermilion changing their wings.
Which I find that interesting because because you have
Yeah.
postcards on Pokemon Go, they
Mm-hmm.
get from friends,
Mm-hmm.
and you just like, all right, here you go, buddy.
Yeah. And then you have the opportunity of getting a roaming form Gilamigo hole and be able to evolve it into a where it's golden form. I forgot the name of it already.
Yeah, that one golden Pokemon,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. I forgot the name. Apologies for that. But yeah, that's all from Pokemon Presents. Now, uh, the one that's not a grape. It's more of I haven't seen it a lot, which is kind of a good thing. Uh, One of the things that I thought would be announced, and I kind of was hoping for, though I'm not upset that it
Mhm.
didn't happen, was hopefully we get re-releases of the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance Pokemon games coming to the Nintendo Switch online platform. That didn't happen. There was no mention of
Nope.
it and all that stuff. But I'm not upset about that, in all honesty, because it is what it is. It's fine. I'm not gonna trip about it and all that stuff. And there's probably people that probably talked about it and probably is upset about it, and that's fine. Though it's like I get I I wouldn't be surprised for the fact that if someone was watching this from beginning to end and then being like, I waited and they were like, I just want to watch the DLC stuff. First of all, you shouldn't be watching it live if that's the case. You should just wait till the pod's up and all that stuff. And then also know for the fact, yeah, of course, like you have to go into these things knowing they're gonna talk about more than just the video games themselves and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
All this other stuff that they have, trading card game, Unite, all that stuff, that's gonna get brought up somewhere, one way or another, in some form. So either deal with it if you're watching it live, or wait till it's officially over and then just skip towards the end. Because most of the time, that stuff, the DLC stuff, is always gonna be at the end, or a new Pokemon game, depending on the what year it is, and all that stuff. So just gotta deal with it. So
True,
based off the
true.
rotation of these presents, we had new game last year, DLC this year. Most likely next year is remake or spinoff like Arceus.
I just hope we get a new Dungeons.
People were
Like,
that was one of the other things people were hoping for too with this.
oh yeah, dude, I saw that in because I was watching it live and I saw the comments for it, and people
Mm-hmm.
were like Dungeons, and I'm like, for me, I'm actually a really big Dungeons fan for Pokemon Mystery Dungeons, and they have shown the capability of running it on the Switch with their remake for Pokemon Dungeon.
Well, I was just I was just about to say that. I was like, didn't they release a remake of that of one of those?
Yeah, one of the best ones. Now we just need new ones to follow up. The real question is, will we finally get remakes from Nintendo DS games to the Switch as well? Because like here's what I'm thinking,
So Diamond and Pearl,
maybe
Diamond and Pearl were the
Pokemon Black
last ones. Diamond and Pearl were the last ones.
Pokemon Black and White's next. Cough cough.
Was that the last one in the GBA era?
Um in the DS era, yeah. Cause Diamond and Pearl were DS.
Oh, Diamond and Pearl were DS. My apologies. My apologies. My
You're all good.
apologies. Apologies. My apologies. Oh, so we're in that DS era now. Okay, so we're
Yeah,
in
we're
the
already
DS
in
era.
the DS era.
So we're in the DS era of the remakes.
We
Okay.
might get a Heart Gold Soul Silver, maybe,
No,
depending on how they run it, but like I don't
no,
think we've already.
they kind of already screwed that up with Let's Go. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if it's gonna be if most likely if it's gonna be a remake next year, they're gonna have to continue the path, which means
Yeah.
after Diamond and Pearl, it has to be. And this is the main line, not a. They're not gonna go because I know. Yes, Heart Gold Soul Silver was were the remakes on the DS.
Yeah,
And
and
that's what.
and technically, canonically, Heart Gold Soul Silver. No, just kidding. Heart Gold Soul Silver did come out after the Diamond and Pearl remake. Diamond and Pearl. So if anything, we might see like a little spin-off
I don't
of
think.
it, and we could probably see a Heart Gold
Or
Soul Silver. Let's go.
well, here's yeah. So here's like so it could be that where they do a Let's Go in the Johto region and all that stuff.
Yeah, just strictly Johto, probably not Johto Kanto,
It
because
has to be.
or no,
It has.
Johto's too small,
It
huh?
has to be both. It has to be
Yeah,
both.
it has to be both.
It has to be both. And everything. Like you can't do a Johto Let's Go remake and then just
Hmm.
do the Johto region and all that stuff
Or we could probably see like another.
because
Um,
here's what it here's what it is. You do so if right after Diamond and Pearl it's Black and White, right?
yeah,
So and hear me out because Black and White has the best story one, right?
yeah,
So you do the Black and White remake and you do another Pokemon Legends set within that region, but it deals with it goes back in time like how Arceus was, but not that far back. Maybe the story
I was
about
gonna
how
say. I was gonna mention that too because like when you said they go back in time, I was thinking like yeah, because Johto does have history. Because you got to remember,
mhm,
Lugia is like the creator of the three legendary birds, and Ho-Oh is the creator of the three legendary dogs as well.
yeah.
So we have that history
So
going on right there too, and we do have history of like great trainers back in that past.
yeah. So that's the thing, but that's the thing. That's the thing though. So do you wanna? Would you want to make? Because that would be somewhat of a mix-up, especially in the rotation of how they're doing the remakes and all that stuff.
It The way that they're doing the remakes, I wouldn't think of it as like it's a mix up or anything. The way I probably look at it is I'm like, oh, it's it's a it's a little spin-off that they're doing, just like how they did with like Legends Arceus,
Well, yeah,
of
no.
like an old
But what I'm
we've
saying
had,
though on this, because like remember, because there's
because
well
they've
now
already done
how it is now
remake
how it is now
spin-off.
because how the well now how the rotation works or how the rotation
Yeah,
was the main line, a mainline title, and then and then a remake, ever since and all that stuff. So now for the fact that in the from a main from if we're on the remake, it makes sense to do the black and white and all that stuff. And then since the last Legends title was pretty much in the same region as the remake one, it only makes sense to go with that same formula and everything. Or if they decide to go offshoot and just do something different in a different region, that's totally fine too.
yeah,
That way you make it different from the other ones as a separate from based off the titles. So my thing is you're gonna get the black and white remakes, but and then the legends. But as if it goes the same route, the legends title is still within that region, but
yeah.
it's dealing with a different setting and everything. But I can see of where they can do the Johto thing too.
because you also got to remember too, Johto Kanto back in the day too, there was a war as well.
True, true.
So there could also be that, or we could even go even further beyond and do like X and Y
I think he would see. I think he would
with
save that later for later
yeah with like the story of like Z and everything.
because
Well, not
like
necessarily the story of Z, but like just that time period because there was also another great Pokemon War,
mhm,
especially with Yveltal wiping everything out of existence.
yeah, because the only way I'm willing to to let the Johto Kanto one go because we're already past that. Both
Yeah,
main title, there's a main title, a remake, and a Let's Go version of that.
but then we
Both
also
of them.
skipped the Hoenn regions as well, though.
No, we didn't. For remakes,
Not for remakes, but for like like a spin-off or some sort.
I mean, technically, well, I'm kind of making Legends its own separate thing now, as a separate thing.
Okay, okay.
Now, if they're gonna continue that route, because I loved Arceus, I enjoyed that and everything, and then it's like if they continue that thing as like part of the not a, I mean, well, it's gonna side with the remake most likely if they continue it, and I'm willing to make that more of a separate thing now, where it's the main title right now. As right now, it's Scarlet and Violet and all that stuff. Or let's go previous generation. Main title, Sword and Shield. The remake, Diamond and Pearl, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and then of course now, and then they added the Legend one, which was Arceus, and all that stuff. So for this current generation, I can see doing Scarlet and Violet last year. Well, of course, this year the DLC, and then next year will be the remake, which Black and White are in line for that. And I'm surprised we're not getting the hype. The rumor swirls is not getting hype starting soon. All that stuff. Um, and then of course if depending if they do it or not, a legends title in a different setting, all that stuff. At least maybe not in black and white in the black and white region, or if not somewhere else before that at least. The other ones before that.
Yeah, but I will say though, I am the thing I want the most though is a black and white remake because those games are beautiful for coming out on the DS, and especially because I think the biggest thing that they were able to mix is 2D with 3D settings compared to just being like a completely 3D game, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I'm like, hopefully, I think that's also one of the biggest things to like that's scary to touch as well for them. I feel like it might be
Oh,
because
I believe it.
the story might be good, but it's for them. It's most likely going to be the graphics that they're going to have to like live up to because
Well, that's the thing. It's like
doing those graphics on a DS, where you were like, whoa,
well, because that's the thing though. It's like how would they approach it? Do they
yeah,
follow the line of what they've done before with previous remakes, and then make it for specifically within that device, where it's similar to the main title ones,
yeah,
or well, technically, yeah, or they divvy off and like just make it more relatable to the game itself, but more with a more playable field with it and all stuff in a way
yeah.
in the development
Because
side
like
of
the way
it.
I'd have to look at it is, I'm like, they'd probably have to do instead of um like a few panels of like 3D art. I think they'll like, I think this. So think of like Pokemon Generations, right?
Mm,
Beautiful animation, right? That we see and everything, especially with some new Pokemon films that came out. Not Pokemon films, but Pokemon YouTube shorts.
yeah,
Um, maybe taking animations from there or stuff from like that kind of animation style
yeah,
and adding it to the Pokemon game for like certain cutscenes. And I think that'd be pretty cool because like, or maybe just like single frame moving pictures,
yeah. Because like
which I would find
because that's
very
the thing.
interesting for the Switch.
Because that'll be the thing. Because like if it's gonna more relate to what the main title, the recent main title is gonna be, it's gonna look ridiculously different and all that stuff. especially if it's going based off Scarlet and Violet, which is very open world now. Like, because you can literally go anywhere in that game, stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see if when that comes into play, when if that's the route they're gonna go next year. Because anything can happen between now and then, next Pokemon Day. So we won't know. Oh, excuse me.
We won't know.
Stuff because I'm okay. I know people had their gripes about Diamond and Pearl,
Yeah.
the remakes, but I was fine with it. I'll be honest. It gave me that nice feel of like playing the classic version of it and all that stuff a bit and everything. Just a little more enhanced graphics and all that stuff and how everything looked and all that stuff. But I know people had their issues with it, but I was cool with it.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Diamond and Pearl game.
It is.
The character models probably, could have been different, but
I know.
I think that was like the biggest thing that people like had issues with. It's because people were excited for the character models because, Nintendo has gotten way better with showing their character models for their main games.
True.
And then they went to like straight up chibi, and people were like, the community was like, I just don't think that the community was necessarily ready for that style or wanted that style.
What like that was my thing. I was like, were they hoping for if like again if to go it based off the main title before that released before it? Were they expecting a Sword and Seal type of look for it?
I like personally, I thought we were gonna get like a Sword and Shield type look for it because they have the models like when they're doing battles, but when
Yeah.
you're walking around, you're just like, oh. And then there was just kind of there's a lot buggy too with certain Pokemon that you walked around, which
Yeah,
is kind of funny.
I do remember that. I do remember that indeed. But yeah, it'll be interesting. And all that stuff. I still need to finish the main game. And all that stuff. I'm on the Elite Four currently, and all that stuff.
Ricky's taking his time with
I'm
it.
taking my sweet time with this game, with this one, and all that
His
stuff.
Pokemon are like level 200 and everything.
No, they're not at all. They're not at all. They're really under level for this. I'm going.
No.
I've been literally trying to do this based off type advantage, and it's been really tricky. I will admit this though. The cool thing about going against this battle, Elite Four, is
Hmm.
that is the box feature because now the box is with you at all times. The Pokemon boxes, so I can
Yeah.
literally like once I get done with the first one Elite Four, and go here before I start the next one, I can just go to the box, switch out what I need for that next one, knowing the types, and then just start it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's been
They just made it real easy for you, huh?
so it's. I mean, I haven't won it yet and all that stuff. That last one always gets me and all that stuff. Because again, though I'm doing this based off type advantage, not level advantage, because none of
Uh,
and all that stuff. None of my Pokemon are at level requirements except for my starter, which is weird, in all honesty, because I don't use him as much and all that stuff. Because again, all I that whole game, I've been doing it based off type advantage and all that stuff and everything. And if I'm like at a good like gap between the levels, I'm good. And it was working for me throughout the whole time playing all three storylines and all that stuff. And but this Elite Four, it's a different story. Different story. But we'll see what happens. See what happens. We're gonna get. I'm gonna get. And then plus eight. The expansion doesn't come out till fall, so
that is true.
they still got to start my Violet
So
playthrough.
you got plenty of time, and then we'll get started on Atomic Heart.
I kid you not. I kid you not. I was actually interested in this game, and then release date happened, and then all this other stuff happened. All this other stuff about it.
All the community got a hold of it. That's
I was like, oh no.
your TikTok for you page.
I was like, no,
You're like,
no.
what is this?
The fact I was like, I didn't like just because I remember seeing the trailer when it first uh, got announced, and I'm like, this is weird and interesting, and the fact that it's coming on Game Pass, I'll give it a shot just to see what it is and all that stuff. And it's like got closer to launch. Okay, cool. It's coming. I'll pre-download it when it's available. I'll preload it when it's available and all that stuff. And then then that TikTok for you page, that fickle little and everything, just decided like, nah, check this out. I was like,
I know. I see it every single time I open up my Xbox. I just see like in the corner Xbox Game Pass, Atomic Heart,
because
and I'm
they're
like,
promoting
hmm,
it and all that
yeah,
stuff. Because and like you, and that's the thing though. It's like at the same time, it's like you can't fault Microsoft or Xbox in general to like not do that because of the fact of like the fact that you paid to get this money on game to get this game on Game Pass and all that stuff, and then this stuff happens. See, I hate this so much. This is the one thing about like this whole
why can't we just be normal human beings?
like the fact that we're now learning about this at launch and all that
Yeah,
stuff and everything like that. Like, if you would have said something like earlier, then maybe I would have been like, okay, I'll take a stance back and all that stuff and everything like that and not do anything. But the fact that you're coming to me at this literally 2 days, literally like within the last 3 days before it launches, is like, why are you making me questioning my thoughts now and all that stuff? I mean, it was bad enough with Hogwarts. Like, don't get me started with Hogwarts
oh gosh.
and all that stuff. Like, because that's the thing. Like, the thing was Hogwarts is yes, everyone knew about that person and what that person has done, but it literally did not ramp up that whole thing until a month before the launch and all that stuff. And it's just like you have people who are fans of like probably do know about this person, what that person has done, and but are fans of the thing itself of of the universe itself and has been excited for this game and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like boom, and it's just like I get of standing up for stuff and everything like that and certain things and all that stuff, but there's a way to be an activist towards it and not be aggressive at the same time about it and all that stuff because being aggressive, especially in America, is just gonna make people do stuff and it's like a not root for you and everything like that and everything and like you have to figure out these things and all that stuff and everything and there's people who are because I'm not trying to delve deep into the Hogwarts side at least from it of what those issues are of what the issues are. Like I know what they are, but it's just like I'm not trying to put more into it because we've had enough of it for the last 2 months and all that stuff. Like we understand it and everything. And then at the end of the day, it's not about what you stand for. It's more the fact of you vote per getting something voting with your wallet on these kind of things, and that's like that for a lot of stuff. It always should be like that and all that stuff. And but it doesn't. It shouldn't lead to a point of like you find out something and then you automatically have to like insult them for that and everything like that. And because there's a majority of people, there's probably like a majority of people who have like don't know about this stuff or whatever, whether it be the one thing on Hogwarts or the other thing within Atomic and everything. There's probably people that don't know about that stuff. And
Nope.
the fact that you find out this person, there's a possible chance that this person you find out about has played those games. The first thing you're gonna do is to straight up insult them. Like, nah, like that shouldn't be a thing. That really shouldn't be a thing.
And like, I'm already a gamer. Let me pick a struggle. Let me
So,
just struggle as a gamer. Oh man.
like, and it's like, but again, it's like, I understand the frustrations and the situation that people are in with that stuff and everything. But again, it's more the fact of how are you approaching that person when they do that stuff. And if you're doing it in a very aggressive tone, yeah, I can see why that person is gonna be like, oh, I'm a buy 3 copies of Hogwarts Legacy just to, and all that stuff. Like, there's a reason why they're doing that and all that
Bruh.
stuff. It's not to piss you off. Technically, some of it is, but it's just more of the fact of you're encouraging something that you shouldn't be doing. They shouldn't be doing. No way.
Yeah. And
And
then especially for like, the people that are probably interested or streamers that are interested too, they can't even play those games because like,
I
worried
was
about community backlash.
see, I didn't want to like and see. I didn't. I wasn't. I wanted to bring this up last episode and all that stuff, but I didn't. I didn't want to like make it a big deal. But the
Yeah, yeah,
fact
we had to wait at least another 2 weeks in order to
just to see what
make sure
happens
everything was filled
after,
out.
just to see what happens after. But the fact that even no, yeah, I think it was like at least a day before release of Hogwarts, there was literally a website where you can search for particular content creators and find out if they're streaming playing the game streaming.
And that's one thing that sucks about like our culture today. I think the most is just like we have so much
Mm,
cancel culture
it's
because we straight up have mob mentality
not at all.
where we're just like, "Hmm,
Like it shouldn't
thing
get
is
to that
bad."
point. It shouldn't get to that point. And then and yes, I mean don't and yes, the website did get taken down within the 24 hours of it getting noticed and everything. But at the same time, it shouldn't that website should have never appeared in the first place
Yeah.
and all that stuff and everything because that's just gonna point fingers to anybody and all that stuff, no matter what and everything
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
cuz the thing is like we're such an influential generation as well. And we have so much influence over these big corporations. Like think of Netflix, right? Netflix stinking posted their stinking thing where they were like, no longer share passwords. Community backlash popped off, and Netflix was like, that was an error. That was a mistake, my guys. Don't worry about that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I'm like, dude, if we put like that kind of energy into like, politics, into like our country, into the things that,
actual
we
things.
actually would probably need, we could probably get so much done, but we're
Well,
focused on
technically,
the smaller thing.
but yeah, like, and not that the other issues are small and everything. Don't get
No,
me wrong. Like, don't get us wrong and all that stuff. Like, those are big deals, but at the same time, it's just
but we have to look at the bigger picture.
and everything like that. It's like if we can focus on the bigger picture, issues of what we see now wouldn't be a thing. Mm.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, but it's like it's that it's that trigger, it's that little thing that make it so much of it, make it not hard on somebody, but it's to the point of like you want to make them really feel guilty about that decision they make
Yeah, and
and
then
all that.
even if somebody genuinely, and I that's another thing too. Apologies aren't genuine anymore either,
True.
because no matter how the community takes the apology, whether you're genuinely giving one or half-assing it, right? In the end of the day, they're always gonna that's gonna be the one mistake you've always made,
It's like
no
it's
matter what. It's on the internet, so it's there
yeah,
forever.
it's like as of now in this era of social media and everything, second chances are no longer a thing and all that stuff.
Yeah, and so people cannot grow from that. People cannot, you know, move
And
on from their mistakes.
you can't,
They're always
yeah,
gonna be known for that, so they're just like, well, if I'm gonna be known for that, I'm might as well just continue doing what I'm doing.
and then it
I'm
leads
only
to
gonna
other
say
shit.
sorry because, they're gonna cancel me, so I'm gonna say sorry for that and then get on with my life
And it
because this is just part of being the internet.
and it leads to even weirder stuff and more crazy
Yeah.
stuff. And it's just like it really shouldn't be like that and all and everything. It's just like now it's gotten to the point now it's like do I play now it's like I it when I found out about the whole stuff with Atomic Heart, it I did jump to that point of like, great, what do I do now? And all that stuff.
Like, do I wanna play this? Or
And all that
if I
stuff.
do play this, do I wanna stream this?
And but at the same time, and because as content creators in particular too, yeah, it makes it hard to make those decisions of what to do and all that stuff. And it's not for well. to me in particularly, it's not the fact of upsetting people. It's more the fact of, do I want to deal with the that kind of fresh stuff? Am I willing to like stand? And I'm sure, and there have been like with Hogwarts in particular, there's been a lot of people that streamed it and all that stuff, and that's cool to see and everything like that. And I have not so far of like on streams that I've hopped in who are playing Hogwarts. So far, it never it's there's not a bad there hasn't been a bad thing in the time I spent watching it. So it's not it wasn't so it doesn't look like it was bad and all that stuff. But the thing is like at the same time, it's like I want do I ever wonder if for those people at least like did they were was the thought process was like am I it's not that the fact of them being able to handle a situation, it's more the fact of are you willing to experience that for your time and all that stuff and everything and wanting to stick with it and everything like that and all that stuff. Because in all honesty, it's like I can understand it for the fact that it's like if you don't want to stream it just for the fact of don't wanting to deal with it, that's perfectly fine because I'm not judging it based on the fact that you can't handle the situation. It's more the fact it's like you just don't want to deal with it and all that stuff and everything. It's enough like it like just the vibe around it and just like hearing the things of back and forth and all that stuff is already draining enough in itself and everything
Yeah.
and everything and everything and it's just like so it's like I like for those who've streamed it I applaud them and all that stuff like and everything but at the same time for those who wanted to do it but didn't do it I mean it's totally understandable of why and all that stuff like I don't think of it like again I'm not thinking of it as the fact of you don't want to do it because you couldn't deal with the situation of what could happen if someone's doing all that stuff. No, it's more the fact of nah, I just don't want to deal with it in general and all that stuff. And it's because it's already draining enough overall without having to
Yeah.
play it, without having to play it. Just hearing about it or seeing the name in itself is draining enough.
Yeah, and like there it's just also so much censorship too because like the YouTube for example. YouTube has so many restrictions now for more content creators, especially
Mm-hmm.
with the new update that just came out in like
Mm-hmm.
what, November?
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's, less content creators that are like, "Hey, I don't even know if I want to post certain things here anymore because or if I do post certain things, I can't make the content I want because it's I'll get demonetized for it or
Yeah.
it's too
Yeah.
controversial."
Yeah. But at the same time, like
At the same time,
it's more the
understandable.
it's understandable for the fact it's like especially if it's like for what they want to do because like the thing is at the end of the day it's like they need to make sure that for them as a company and making things right it's like they don't want to they want to make sure it's like I
They're not liable.
they're not liable but also for the fact it's like I'm sure it's like they want to make sure it's like this environment is safe in particular and as much as they try to make things different and make it better
Yeah.
and all that stuff and everything and it's just like and I'm not gonna lie like I've seen like Twitch and YouTube where to me it feels like okay this is a little bit overstepping the TOS or the boundaries of within the within the form of this particular platform and all
Yeah.
that stuff and that's not me hating on them it's more the fact of how I view that particular platform and what it provides and all that stuff
Yeah.
and everything
I, I
and
think I think YouTube videos just personally need to just have ratings, and
yeah it's
and
it's it's gotten to that
and
it's getting
you
to
need
that
to
point.
have a Google account or like any sort of like email account to like
Mm.
sign in to YouTube to watch videos because right now like obviously you can
Well,
watch any video you want no matter if you're signed in or not.
yeah, and
And think of it as like Newgrounds, right? Do you know what Newgrounds is?
no.
Okay, so Newgrounds is this old website. People
Mm.
used to like post like flash games, art, and like their own videos as well. And the thing is, like there's NSFW content on the Newgrounds website,
Yeah.
but in order to like access anything that's like age restricted or It's like that you would need to sign in to view that content.
Yeah. Well, and that makes
Yeah,
sense. That makes sense in general. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, we. I think because especially now of how we're consuming media, it's totally different now than it was back then.
yeah. Also, I
And
don't know if you've heard as well, but like YouTube's also going under a lawsuit maybe right now,
I wouldn't be surprised. So
because of like because of their recommendation. So
oh
something,
yeah,
you know,
that thing.
uh, terrorist
That's
propaganda and everything, and
that's
because of
gonna
like
change a
somebody
lot.
YouTube's recommendation page, YouTube is under question is if they're liable for promoting um racist content,
But
and or not racist, terrorist content.
depending on the content of what it is, of that's not
Yeah,
reflective of what.
because it really shows you that YouTube's algorithm that they've made is literally based off of what you watch. So it's not unbiased because they were protected by a certain law which showed that YouTube is not what's it
Yeah,
called, liable, because
yeah.
of they're not the ones that's promoting it to you, but because of their algorithm, that's how it is because that's how they're bringing that information to you. So in order for that to really be taken away, YouTube's algorithm is going to have to literally be thrown out of the equation, or new things are going to have to be set up for YouTube.
Well, yeah. But at the same,
Also, YouTube
how
CEO stuff.
yeah, like because like how I see it is like it is based off an algorithm and over time. It's not. It's I wouldn't call it a promotion and like a promotional thing in a way. It's more the fact of these are
These are
recommendation.
videos
These are
based off of like what you watched recently.
and then
But like, say if
that
I
could
was
be.
like learning stuff
But
about
that's the
like,
thing.
oh,
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like because that's the thing though. It's like there is gonna be a point where you're searching something and all that stuff, or something that's nothing out of your normal and all that stuff. And say if it's like, even if it's for research and all that stuff and everything like that, it's like a couple of videos searching for that. Yeah, that's gonna fickle in because you're doing it within your stuff and all that stuff. And of course, YouTube isn't, or even anything in general that uses that thing and that uses that kind of algorithm is gonna put give you that stuff and all that stuff just for the fact because you searched for it and all that stuff. That can be like as long as you're not keep doing. I can understand it. For the fact that like if you keep doing this, then yeah, that's not YouTube's fault in a way and all that stuff because you keep on looking for it, and the fact that you're now the fact that it's now fickling into your feed in a way based off the algorithm of what you're searching, yeah, that's gonna come in and all that stuff and everything like that and everything because you're constantly doing it in a way for that stuff.
yeah,
But and it's like, but if it was like if it's something like that's being forced upon you and like you don't have that search history in a way of like of those type of videos, then yeah, then that's where I can see it. Cause here's an example and all that stuff. And in a way. So I mean I have my own YouTube account and all that stuff, of course, and all that stuff, because I have my own channel. It's my stuff that I see, stuff I watch and all that stuff. There'll be a time where my niece will want to watch something on YouTube and it's like kid stuff related stuff. And will I don't have it because I don't know it. So I'll search it and all that stuff. And then she'll be watching a couple videos. And then the next thing I know, I'll be seeing my algorithm with related stuff because of that search and all that stuff and the constant videos my niece is watching. And I don't let that it's not and that's for the fact of okay, well now I just need to get back to my regular routine of watching stuff that I like and knowing what I relate to get the feedback to how I want it to. And it doesn't take that long really and all that stuff. See again, it's like if this is something that's totally not totally like you've done a couple searches and it's for research, a couple of it happens to get on your feed, then and all and how I see it, I and like and all stuff, and I could be and this could be persuaded for change. Like that's not on YouTube, but if the fact of like if you're gonna keep watching this and you're seeing it again, then that's probably most likely why. There's people gonna be like that. Where like, well, I'm getting this stuff. Like, well, are you still watching it? Are you searching for this stuff constantly and everything like that
Yes.
and everything? I know you do and all stuff and all that stuff.
No,
And
I I just watched Witherspoon
it's
and
just a tricky. It's like a little tricky thing, but it's just more of the fact of making sure of like you're doing what you need to do to vibe. I I can tell you this: my
okay,
Twitch stuff is horrible. I'll be honest, and all that stuff and everything, and that's just because it's just weird stuff I find on this
okay, okay.
on this damn website.
Can I mention something
Sure.
since we're on the topic of like content?
Mhm.
So do you know game theory, right?
Yes, I know of it. Never watched the video, but I know of it.
Okay. So game theory has like four different sections. So they have game theory,
Mm-hmm.
they have film theory,
Mm-hmm.
they have food theory,
Yes.
and they just recently added a new theory to the channel.
Shout out to
And they
Matt
have a
Pat,
new
by the
theory
way.
channel.
Shout
Yeah,
out to
shout out
Matt
to
Pat.
Matt Pep GT. He has style theory now.
What is it?
Style theory.
Style theory?
Style theory. So
Is
Matt
he
Pet is a fashionista now.
I was just about to ask, like, is he doing this or is it his are they married? I don't know if they're married or
Yeah, yeah, they're married.
not. Okay,
They
his
they have a
wife.
kid.
I know they had a kid, but I didn't know if they were married or not. That's the thing.
But yeah,
Not all parents are married
true, true.
in
I
this
mean,
day
yeah,
and
just look at
age.
me. I mean, I'm not married and I don't have kids, but like, yeah.
Sorry, Matt Pat, if you see this.
Nah. If you see this, you're funny. But if he does, I do have his merch. I should wear his shirt. Anyways, yeah, yeah. So that was a lot.
Interesting.
Very interesting topics. Now, very a lot of different things. We got games. We had content. Actually, that's all it was, huh? Just games and content.
Games and content, and we didn't get to the main topic.
That I think we'll have to do like our own separate video for that.
That's a whole thing in itself.
This was the whole thing. I didn't expect it to like go on like this.
But hey, no,
No,
this
no,
is
but
how I
this
wanted
is
this to
good
go.
though.
This is how I wanted this to go. Really.
Exactly. But yeah. Anyways, I'm Arturo with No Name Podcast. This is Ricky, and catch us on any and all social medias. So we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, and any other podcast services that you can find us on. I know I should have said this in the beginning of the video, but like
We went on
say
our
it now.
we went on
So
our
we went on
thing.
a tangent.
We went on our thing.
But yeah, we'll catch you next week. Or not next week, but like, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But all right, see ya.
Peace.